we're gonna flip on this little switch there that says ACC for accessories. And then we gotta come back over to here. This one's got a power switch. See if it works. Hey, we got a blue light. And the voltage says 12.4. Okay, well, the last time we tried to use a cigarette lighter adapter, we almost started a fire on the boat. So we decided to go out and buy a new one. And we got this one from Walmart.com. It comes with a set of 4. Decided that's where we wanted to put it. So we traced out the holes. We have all of these parts here for putting in there, and it'll go right into the basically the cover. Then we'll lock them down with locking rings on the back side of it and wire it up afterwards. So we're working on drilling out the center holes, and before these drill out, so if I picked a good enough center, I think they will all fit. Let's try it. I don't know if there's a specific way any of these have to go in, but we'll go like that. 12 volt. That way all the words are up the right way. I like that. Now we'll go on the inside and put the 4 lock rings on and clamp it down. Then we can add, 4 screws that we can put in here. We can do that. It doesn't look too hard. I might just tap them out with a small drill bit. And we get to wire it up. I think I can get these things started on here. Good. Oh yeah, that'll work. Well, now I get to wire it up from down below. Let me switch and show you what that's going to look like. Pull the wires from back in my fuse panel. You'll put the hot side onto the one side of the breaker, and then there's a common for the negative side, and hook those up, and hopefully we'll have this thing running here soon. So from the back side of our sink, this is where I was screwing in those lock rings. We have our drain. And we have our faucet line. Right there's where I decided to put the 4 spots. Fairly out of the way. I'll have to work around the drain a little bit, but I think it's going to work just fine. And I already ran the other orange and yellow line that goes to the faucet pump. I have a pressurized shut-off pump for our freshwater system, our 2 different sinks. And then we'll try to rerun all 4 of those lines so that the duct tape didn't hold them up. But I'm going to zip tie them. We got some other power lines here, and I think I'm just going to follow that power line underneath there, and I'll probably just zip tie it to that one. Should be able to go back all the way back to the panel. Now we got to take the breaker panel off here. This is our DC panel coming right from the battery. We have an AC panel for shore power that gets hooked up right below, behind this counter here. That was a phone call. I ended up turning off my camera. So the other one really only has a couple of outlets hooked up to it, and I think there's a battery charger that gets hooked up to it. Currently it's not. There are all of our wires coming off of the battery, and I think I'm going to go disconnect the power coming to that so I don't zap myself or zap anything else and hurt something. Well, I ended up feeding this orange line. Didn't take me that long actually. I thought it would take me a lot longer, which is why I didn't video it, but I fed it up and through just from the back side here so that I can then type the new wires and feed them back down, because it's kind of a really tight little hole, and hopefully they'll feed through there no problem. And then I can kind of feed everything through this spot, because here's where the black or the ground common is here, and so I should be able to put my yellow wire is what I did the last time. I'll do the same thing this time, where the yellow wire is the ground common there, and then we'll put my orange over to the breaker side. It used to be going to this outlet, but then again, the last time this outlet was on, it just about started a fire. In fact, we still have a burn mark on our door from the lightning cable coming off the USB port. So that is why we are rewiring it. I don't think it was wired properly for the first time, and it is definitely too small of a wire that is getting fed out into this outlet from the breaker. And so we're going with, I think this is 12 gauge wire. Should be plenty. Yep, 12, and this is the braided line that is meant for the DC power. So I'm going to see if I can't get this thing cut and feed it through. And sorry for the slight mess. When our boat is parked, we just don't have room for everything, because the Bimini has got no good spot to store it and all that kind of stuff. I brought a bar along so that I could try to roll these things. I'm not sure how I'm going to support this though. It sounded like a good idea at the time. If I do it like that, I go there. Oh boy, not the most stable thing, but it might work. I'll black tape all these lines together, and hopefully I can make them all fit back through the small little hole the one came out of. Okay, there's my two new lines here that are coming out. And those lines are going from the panel, from the spool of wire, back up. So I'm just pulling them out, pulling them down the hole. So I'm going to take my single line here and try to stuff it down the hole that the other two lines go out of. Might have to redo some duct tape in here. But the intent is to go through that hole, and then it will come out in the cabinet down there where the new ones will come out. So I'll probably see if I can do that, because those are going to be really hard to video one hand, and then I'll share the results. Okay, well that didn't take too long, but it wasn't exactly super easy either. Let me flip the camera around here and I'll show you what we ended up having to do. We pulled it through there to help pull the double line down, and then it was going to go through that hole. Except that 2 wires fit through that hole, but the third single wire that helps feed it through did not. All 3 wires did not fit through. So maybe if I would have staggered them a little bit or something, they might have fit through, but I ended up untaping it. And then in our bilge here, I had to stick my hand underneath and down, and that's about all the room you get. I'm touching the floor there. I had to stick it all the way underneath and down because right about there, here is the other hole that comes in through underneath the sink and the stove and the counter. So I had to feed it into that hole, get my hand in there, feed it through the hole that's in here, which then comes out right down there. So now I have 2 sets of wires, but I'm also about 2 to 3 feet short maybe. I'll probably give 2 feet, wire it up, and then pull some back, and I can terminate it over on this end. Okay, well, I'm back. And sorry, because I'm mostly done now, and this was kind of hard to film, even if I did have it. But I can kind of show you what I did and show you the last couple of terminals I have to connect here. So, there is the maze of stuff up there. That little gray box I used is a junction box for all of my positive terminals after the switch. The main switch wire is going there in the bottom there. And then everything else, I ran a common for my grounds, my common coming in, that goes back to the common by my panel. And then it splits off and goes to all my others. So then I zip tied them. I reran that other line going to the pump wire. Zip tied them kind of around. And I get to see, just kept following that cable. Oops, dark in there. There we go. Just kind of followed all the way around until it went out. It then runs, and I kind of already tucked it away, but they run up and behind that and come into this breaker panel. Not sure where I'm going to be able to set this camera to try to finish it up. I don't know if I set it right here. Yeah, I think that'll work. So I've now got my ground that I'm going to hook up to all my grounds, and this really big black wire goes all the way back to the battery. And then this one I'm going to put a spade terminal on. In fact, I'll do that now before I mess the 2 of them up. And this then will go, crimp it on here, and it will go onto the last open spot. In fact, actually it was the spot that used to be to this terminal here that I've totally disconnected, pulled the wires off. Yep, it's on there nice and good. That's going to come over to here. Oh man, that thing is stiff, stiff, stiff. Okay, come on, buddy. Oh, there we go. Now it slides on good. Yep, still feels good. So that's going to be my accessory. Will be my 2 USB ports and that cigarette accessory. So now it is terminated into the positive side, and the negative side I've got to put a one of these round crimps on so that it will be able to go around that bolt that's kind of getting used to combine all of the negatives. Kind of a negative bus there. Certainly not an electrician, but I have done a lot of electrical work just to be able to get it done what I need to get done. Let me just spin this one on first. Should probably go grab the actual wrench, but and you want to make sure all your connection terminals are really tight. You don't want any arcing and jumping electricity between anything, so one more twist here, just a little bit, just to make sure. There we go, it is good and tight. Those are all squished together as much as they can be squished. And everything's good and solid, and then we'll try to tuck this negative bus one way out of the way. That way I got plenty of room for all my breakers and fuses and all that kind of stuff. And now I can get it all to go back in there. The bottom just doesn't want to go in there. So many wires going in there. That'll work. Put my panel back in place here. There we go. So now it's just to test it out and see if it works. But I gotta hook back up. My battery is way back here. Okay, and we're back. We got the battery terminal hooked up. We're gonna flip on this little switch there that says ACC for accessories. And then we gotta come back over to here. This one's got a power switch. See if it works. Hey, we got a blue light. And the voltage says 12.4.